called the Brody Hook, and it was designed by James H. Brodie to be used on liaison type aircraft. And they kind of had a problem, especially over in the Pacific, with the island hopping campaigns, because you'd have to somehow, you'd want these reconnaissance airplanes flying out there when the initial waves were going into the beachheads, but you didn't have any runways that were improved, or you didn't have any place to land them. So they went to one of the aeronautical engineers, James Brodie, and he designed the Brody Hook to basically, it was a hook for L4s and L5s, and you'd come in and hit a net on landing, and it essentially just catch you. So you had kind of a net like that, either in the jungle, basically between telephone poles like this example, or they had it, and the ones they used most were off the sides, big booms off the sides of LSTs, the big landing ships, and they come in and trap them. And so they actually used it successfully, I believe, Okinawa and Iwo Jima, and it was really highly successful. But this one's going to be, it's a Piper Cub frame I'm converting to an L4, just the cockpit section to the firewall right here. And I'm going to make it kind of a display of field modifications on L-birds. So L-birds were basically the Jeep of World War II when it came to the air. So they did everything you can think of they could throw on something, they threw on an L-bird. They were used from artillery spotting to VIP transport to prisoner swaps. I mean, it was an amazing airplane. So we're going to do the Brody Hook as a modification. And essentially the guy just sat in the Cub, he sat in the back. And
you're gonna leave it like this? Or you're gonna put it on?
Well, we're gonna restore this cockpit section to look like you took a Cub and just went and cut it, and then we're gonna put this on it as it is, unrestored, because this is original. This is all original. And so what they would do is that on takeoff, it was on the cable, and it was on basically just a big shackle, and there was a trolley on a wire on these booms, and they had a brake. And so the pilot would run up, and then they'd release the brake on the trolley, and he'd go running down this cable all across this LST. And at the end of it, they just drilled a hole right here, and this was all he did. He pulled that, and of course you can see it's a spring mechanism, and there's it's basically up top, right below that bolt, that would flip up, and he would drop, and he'd have enough airspeed to take off. And so when he did his mission and came back, they hung a big old net, and he hit it, and he would right up there and catch in the hook. So that's one of the field modifications. Another one we're going to do is you can see this 12-foot antenna. They actually put Jeep radios in the back of L4s and L5s, and they had this 12-foot mast antenna hanging out the top of it. And you see some of them, and they're all bent over like this. It's kind of cool. So we're doing that. I've got the original batteries and wiring harness to hook that up. And then another thing that people don't really know is why the heck you would have like an oxygen cylinder off of a B-17 or B-24 in an L4. Well, in the initial invasion of Normandy, they wanted all the L-birds spotting on the first wave, and then they'd land over, and some of the first liaison squadrons to go over there too. They didn't think they had enough gas, and so they said, how the heck can we figure out a way to get us a couple extra gallons of gas, because a Cub burns 2.5 to 4 gallons an hour depending on your power setting. And the mechanics went and got these old cylinders and hung them right here, and literally just put a hose into the petcock on the bottom of the tank, and so it gave them an extra 1.5 gallons, 2 gallons.
Yeah, that's cool.
And so that's a little redneck engineering in the field. So this is going to be the next project to get done.
I think Nick's here.
Yeah.
Dude, that's really cool.
Yeah, so it's gonna be a cool one. So we're gonna have it on the gear, and I'm gonna hook it up, and we have the original net upstairs, 2 original nets.
Really? Hi, I'm Eric Johnston. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment below, and subscribe to my channel to enjoy many more aviation videos to come.